Sure. Right now, referee Dustin Robinson asking the Matthews Rave team to pick one competitor. It is Kyle Matthews, Cedric Alexander in for his team, and we're off and running at this point here on our main event at Rampage Pro Wrestling.
Kyle Matthews, of course, is the reigning NWA RPW heavyweight champion, and this opportunity for tag team action. Locked up now with Kyle Matthews, forearm twisted to a hammerlock, applied to Cedric Alexander. And good escape by Alexander into his own headlock. Good roll-up attempt for a pin there by Kyle Matthews. But notice how Cedric maintains a hold.
Matthews, though, goes for the arm, tries to break the leverage on it, managed to break free the support arm and takes that left arm over. Locks it, and now he's forcing Alexander down. Bridge by Alexander, trying to break pressure, rolls through, manages to grab the leg of Kyle Matthews. Good back and forth wrestling early in the match here between these two competitors in this first round Rampage Cup tournament match.
And we have a lot of teams that have advanced in that tournament, including Jimmy Rave's own approved group going into the tournament after the first round. Hollis and Day have earned that opportunity. The BFFs have earned their opportunity as well, as Frankie Valentine, J-Rod, and Highlight Level. All those guys will be in the first round.
Now Jimmy Rave into the ring for the first time against Cedric Alexander. Jimmy Rave has the definite experience in this particular match. I mentioned Jimmy Rave had made it to Ring of Honor well before either of these two men. Jimmy Rave, a star there, one of the major feuds in Ring of Honor with CM Punk, now of course a WWE superstar. His cage match, Punk's cage match with Jimmy Rave, one of the great matches in Ring of Honor's history. Then Jimmy Rave left Ring of Honor, went to Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. But now, years later, Caprice Coleman, who Rave started with, is now the one that's in Ring of Honor Wrestling, and he's bringing that Ring of Honor team with Cedric Alexander here into Jimmy Rave's backyard.
And you know, whether people have supported Jimmy Rave in the past and his actions, one thing that has remained the same, this guy is a phenomenal wrestler, and you can't take that away from him. He's also a psychological wrestler, as you see here.
Well, you noticed right there, he didn't do an awful lot in that particular exchange with Alexander and quickly tagged back into Kyle Matthews. Not exactly sure that's the teamwork. Also, did you notice that he didn't control when Jimmy Rave had the hold of Cedric Alexander? There was no real control bringing him over. Right now we're seeing that control executed by Caprice Coleman and Cedric Alexander as they try to control the man, but no, Kyle Matthews able to use the legs to break the hold. Now he has Caprice Coleman.
Head scissors down the bridge by Coleman. And Kyle now trying to control the man, and good escape effort there by Coleman into a pin. Only a one count, but both men are back to their feet. And respect is a theme in this match for sure. It's almost like Ring of Honor versus Rampage. We know that Davey Richards said some very derogatory things about Rampage Pro Wrestling, as well as Jimmy Rave and Kyle Matthews in particular. Maybe these guys aren't on board with the comments of Davey Richards.
No, I don't know. I really don't know if they're compatriots of Davey Richards. They may both work for the same company, but I don't know if they hang out at the same places, so to speak. Right now, though, back and forth wrestling here. This is the first time that Kyle Matthews and Caprice Coleman have ever been in a match together, I understand.
And great maneuvering here by Matthews, going right into what could be a submission maneuver as he's working that ankle. And referee Dustin Robinson right on top of the action, and Coleman finds the ropes. And a clean break as expected by champion Kyle Matthews.
As his face looks over, handshake in the ring. Now Jimmy Rave tagged into the match. There's a ton of history right here between these two young men. But it's been quite a while since they've locked up in a wrestling ring. But I have a feeling that they both remember each other very, very well from the numerous times that they worked together. Jimmy Rave ago, as you mentioned, Jimmy Rave continues to be the constant master of psychology. Refusing to do lockup, goes out onto the ring apron, buys time. Doesn't matter what side Jimmy Rave is on, he's not going to change up his game.
No, he's not. He's still Jimmy Rave, whether you cheer him or boo him. And that's one thing that you have to say about Jimmy Rave, and he's been very successful in his career. And you see Coleman now just taking a break here. He says, if you want to rest, we'll rest.
Well, now back and forth. Like I said, both men know each other well. Rave trying to get into the head of Caprice Coleman. Coleman is experienced Jimmy Rave before, but there's a go behind by Rave. Reversal goes behind again. Hammerlock takes him over. Look at that sharp, crisp move and quick exchange, but then an equally quick reversal by Caprice Coleman.
Right back into the hammerlock and trying to control the man. Good rollout escape into a standing wrist lock by Jimmy Rave. And another escape attempt, bridge, skip up, and back into a standing wrist lock by Caprice Coleman. You see some great technical wrestling here. Counters and mega counters.
Control the arm, Coleman tags out. In comes Cedric Alexander, takes advantage of that control within the 5 count. Totally legal, maintains control on the arm, takes it over, wrenches it back in the opposite direction, and now keys that arm and has control of Jimmy Rave down on the mat. Does Cedric Alexander, rolling through is Jimmy Rave, and he manages to reverse the hold into a hammerlock.
It's interesting how a bone as small as the wrist bone can control the whole body.
Very much so.
But it really can. If you ever had somebody play Mercy with you, you know how.
Oh, very true.
And right now has that hammerlock and extends the arm down for a pin. 2 count.
Rave backs up into the corner and tags in his partner Kyle Matthews. I don't know. I think Matthews was hoping to get a little bit more of a rest than that, have Rave do a little bit more work. Already you can see that this is not quite a 50-50 team between these two men. Rave is not going to mold his style to anyone else, regardless of whether he's decided to respect them as a teammate for this period of time.
And now a test of strength here between Kyle Matthews and Caprice Coleman. Actually, Cedric Alexander. And now we'll see who can overpower the other. And Cedric is going down. And he's down, and look at Kyle Matthews, bridged by Cedric. And Matthews driving in, trying to get the man down, not enough.
Using his full body weight, still can't break the bridge. Tremendous strength in the neck of Cedric Alexander, not resisting, not letting the shoulders touch the mat as Dustin Robbins is in position. That time kips him, grabs him, monkey flip, takes over Kyle Matthews. Dustin Robinson has to scamper to get out of the way.
Look at that kip out by Cedric Alexander. This guy's in phenomenal condition. And Kyle Matthews realizing what he's in the ring with. And wrestling fans really appreciate this kind of wrestling. Switches, exchanges, holds and counter holds. That's what you're seeing here. And this is what the basis of professional wrestling was. This is what wrestling means on the marquee.
Very much so. Now side headlock by Cedric Alexander. Matthews forces him back into the ropes, throws him through, catch, shoulder block. Cedric Alexander takes him down. Leapfrog, Matthews is over. There's a side leg lariat, takes down Alexander. Matthews getting the better of that exchange, and now he goes for a cover. There's one, gets as much as a 2 count. Didn't expect a 2 count out of that. I think Alexander was caught off guard. Now Rave back in quickly.
Front chancery holding the position.
Tees
him
up.
On. Jimmy Rave come with a boot.
Kick to the gut, lines him up for a chop, gets behind, grabs a rear chin lock from both sides, puts the knee into the back, leveraging the neck back and putting pressure on the back at the same time, not only controlling Alexander on the mat, but putting a serious amount of hurt on him.
And now in center ring, Jimmy Rave, as he likes it, in full control. He has that rear chin lock applied with both hands hooked. And now hooking that head to the side, put the pressure on the neck.
And now goes right back in after doing that other damage. Just when he gets comfortable with one, he manages to move it to the other. Now Cedric Alexander trying to get himself motivated, and at the same time he's getting the crowd motivated in behind him as he turns into Jimmy Rave as he should. Lands an elbow, another elbow. Not a lot of power behind those and not enough to break the hold as Rave pulls him in using the tights and lands a solid forearm to the back that takes down Alexander. Alexander definitely is giving up a ton of experience in this match to Jimmy Rave.
And notice Jimmy Rave still doing those psychological moves, not changing up at all, just being Jimmy Rave. You love him or leave him, he's the same guy. Full chop by Jimmy Rave. Remind the fans that Sunday afternoon, June 24th, returning Rampage Pro Wrestling with the North American champion for the NWA, Sean the Temptation Tempers. Hard chop by Matthews.
Alexander tries to get out of the way, and he's hooked by Kyle Matthews. Now Alexander returns the favor. There's a chop from Matthews. An exchange. Matthews chops him. Down goes Alexander. pulled over to the corner. Rave now back into the match. Grabs hold